As far as I can remember, one of the things I use interdisciplinary in the past is I combine my English class and my biology class. Each week, biology class require us to complete one science paper where we use the information from Google Scholar and our English ability to complete one science paper each week. And when I take this biology class, I immediately realize how important my English class is, where we learn to understand how to construct and how the structure of essay is, and how each paragraph has its unique grammar rule, such as every paragraph we have to use a very strongman idea in the beginning of each paragraph. The first sentences we need to clearly indicate what we are talking about in this specific paragraph. With this strategy helped me to really able to explain idea very clearly in my biology class and increase my understanding of the topics when I really write an academic report from Google Scholar. And I also, this strategy from English class also allows me to have better understand the reading part of the assignment, where we have to read a lot of paper in order to complete a science report in this biology class. Where while reading this science paper, I can very quickly to notice, quickly to understand what the paragraph is talking about from the strategy I learned from English class, such as when I see the first sentences in paragraph, I immediately know what the paragraph is talking about. So when I reading this part, I can using that kinds of idea to approach deeper meaning of the paragraph while using the first sentence of the beginning of the sentence of paragraph. So I feel like it is how I use both biology class and English class. I integrate those kinds of strategy together to allows me to better understand the two field of subject. I think in the future I'll combine the perspective of artists and physicists, and those two field is what I'm passionate about. I think most of the time, for majority of people, they might think that those two parts of fear are too far away, or it's hard to imagine how we combine those two fear. But from my perspective, it's so important to combine those two fear and integrate the knowledge from those both sides. And one example is it's so important to use the perspective of artists and the disciplinary of artists to approach physics when doing some amazing things. One example is I have read a book called Surely You Are Joking, Mr. Freeman. It's talk about a person, a physicist, using artist's perspective to approach a lot of things. He's passionate about art, and he also is very good physicist. It is quite similar to my own experiences that when we use artist perspective or artist skill to approach science, it allows us to see further from theory of science, such as if I can design a car that I know how to make the car that functioning well and make the aerodynamic and something like that. But if we know how to use artist perspective, the way of imaginations, how to think outside the box, then we can make this car even more functioning. Not just functioning, but also appearance. Make as beautiful as possible, but also fits its dynamic the appearance. So I feel like art and physics is so important if I can integrate it together. Not just making product in the future what I'm passionate about, because I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. We're making products or services for customers but also how to approach things. I'm not even can integrate physics and artist skills into practical ways, but also I can use physics, perspective to approach arts, and arts perspective to approach physics. So it really helps me to think outside the box and able to really think differently than most majority of people. My major is in applied physics, and I think one of the EP perspective I think most in line with my understanding of the physics is the nature science. I think that's the most closer, related things because those are science, and nature science is probably like more nature and the physical world. Some of the principle are quite related to physics principle. Um, yeah, I think like nature sciences maybe some kinds of related to plants or something like that, but all kinds of things are related to physics if we consider the physical world. So I feel like nature science definitely will be uh, the kind of perspective that what physics we approach and how we approach the world. Using science principle, using science strategy, using experiment to prove what we are understanding. I think those two are quite similar, and using natural perspective approach physics is um, quite more. I mean, more related to physics major. As far as I can think about it, one of the things that's basically related to all kinds of major is philosophy. The way to think things and to solve problems using creative mindset. I think that's so important when it comes to physics, when it comes to art, when it comes to any kinds of major that require you to think. Um, Back in middle school, I took one classes of philosophy class where the teacher shared about um, a lot of ancient philosophers, where they think about very quite interesting topic, the way we think about the world and how we approach world using different kinds of mindset. Sometimes it involves with science, sometimes it is outside of science, but what we think about things that surround us, just like a physical principle that surround us, is quite important when we think about that. Because when we think about it, we are at the same time really trying to understand and the things that surround us, and also asking questions. For example, why we exist and how come and why we are as a human, and what before we exist is this world is the world is made of like the particles and electrons, or is this how we can define that the earth is like a ball, and even before we had a technology, the science to understand the earth is like a ball, a lot of ancient philosophy already assume that the earth is considered a ball. And it's like a sphere. um, you know it's very interesting that philosophers are think about things very deeply and really try to understand and to you know make some crude from their thinking. And I think that is very important to when we approach a new problem, whether it's experiments or whether we are creating an or arts project. That's so important because when we think, when we try to understand things, oftentimes we can really find an answer. So I think um, the the philosophy perspective can definitely help me to solve problems and answer question exists in my biophysics major.